guys, Marika here with another card video. Today I am going to use some Tim Holtz Distress crayons together with inks and products from Creative Smile stamps, some stencil and stamps and dies. To begin with, I'm going to make a base layer with some distress inks. I am going to use my stencils and my distress crayons, but I wanted to have a base layer of color at the bottom, and that I'm doing with my distress inks. So I started out getting it a little bit too light, much more light than I wanted. I didn't have a proper water source, I just had the sprayer, so I tried to kind of clean the brush in between. It didn't really work out. Use a bowl with water to clean your brushes in between colors, but I got the result I wanted for the end, and then I'm just hitting it with my heat tool because I don't like waiting time. I'm holding it up because I have a cutting mat underneath and that isn't heat resistant, so then I have to be a little bit careful when I'm using my heat gun over my table. I usually use it on the side, but I wanted to show you a little bit. Using some tape on the back side to adhere it to the little sheet that I'm using for blending on. And then I added my little stencil on top. And now I'm going to smudge the crayons. I have a few tips that I've picked up by watching a lot of videos about these crayons. When you are blending, you either want to work very quickly or in very small pieces at a time, because it seems like the crayons have a certain amount of drying time, and before they are really dried you can smudge pretty easy, but when they have dried it's much harder to smudge them. So I work in very small areas, and as you can see they blend beautifully when you want to blend between two different colors, and you probably can blend a lot more different, but I'm doing this gradient, and I'm actually trying to sort of keep the same color gradient on my crayons that I had on the underneath with my inks. Might have been pretty cool if I had gone the opposite with the blue on the yellow or the citron and the that way, but this was the way I ended up doing it. It was a lot of fun. Another tip is to try to not go too close to your stencils, because then the crayon might actually be cut a little bit by the stencil and you end up with a cake of crayon underneath your stencil. So just small little tips, and that is how it ended up looking. I'm putting that aside so it can dry a little bit, so it'll be easy to handle. I'm gonna do 2 stripes. I'm using the Tim Holtz Distress watercolor paper for all of this. I'm making 2 stripes, one in peacock feathers and one in the twisted citron. On the twisted citron I'm using the Wishes stamp from the small mini birthday stamp set, and I'm actually gonna just cut out a strip of that going across. And from the peacock feather I'm using the kind of hand-drawn version of the 3 birthday dies that you can get in one set. And I cut it out and I kind of fiddled a lot with it and got it out of it, and I'm actually going to use the correct piece of the paper, not the cut out piece. And this is when I'm looking at it and I'm kind of realizing, yeah, that is way too much background, so I'm going to cut it down. And I ended up cutting it down to 2 inches, which means that I actually have a pretty big piece left. I think this paper is 5.5, so I should have about 3.5 inches left for another project another day. So I cut it down, and then I decided I wanted it to have white borders on the top and the bottom on a card base, and this was a 4.25 by 5.5 piece, and I cut it down to 5, and I scored it at 2.5 inches, which made a small card. I have a tendency to make small cards when I work with the creator stamp pieces. I don't know, I kind of like making small cards. It's fun. I just use my tape runner, adding extra much tape on the back side of that because I have dried it and used water on it. It's a little bit warped, so I want it to sit really, really good. And the card is so little that I didn't really want to add any dimension with foam tapes and such. I just wanted them to be added on top of each other. And then I'm using my Mono Multi glue for the back side of this little die cut. It's a very little nozzle on it, so it's quite easy. After a while you get a hang of using the little nozzle and add little dots, but also I go over with my finger and kind of dab away the excess glue so I don't get glue around my little piece there. And then I'm just adding it a little bit higher up, so about half of it is on that strip and half of it is above the strip. And to finish off the card, I'm using some of these enamel shapes, also from Create a Smile stamps. And I'm using 3 of them because, I don't know, everything is better in 3s. They say that using uneven amounts make the eye feel a little bit better when they see something. So I use 3 little arrows. And that is the card for today. I hope you liked it. If you do, please thumbs it up. It means a lot to me. If you have any comments, just comment down below. And here are 2 other videos I have done for the Create a Smile stamp DT team. So thank you again for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye!